have our very first guest of the show, and it had to tie in a little bit to snaps because the man that got left behind, just like myself, Jacob Hester, joining us today as our first guest, a man that covers all of college football, does a terrific job. Former LSU great, the fullback, one of the greatest fullbacks in college football history, is going to be breaking down this matchup between LSU and Clemson this weekend. I'm not going to do a lot of talking. I'm going to let these two duel it out for who really is the true Death Valley. But Jacob, man, appreciate you being our first guest on the new Mac and Murray college football show.
Yeah, it's an honor. Obviously, both of y'all are my guys, so I'm glad y'all found y'all's way together as well. Look, when you have a fullback as your first ever guest, like it might not be the sexiest pick, but it's the grittiest pick. And so this show already is too gritty to be pretty.
Come on, baby.
So
That's
gritty.
what we like. Come on, Aaron. That's what we like.
I love it. I love before we get into the matchups, just kind of I just want to hear your overall excitement for the weekend, the games. This show's being released on Thursday, so we have games tonight. I'm actually going to be on a call for Missouri tonight, so if you want to watch some football, turn to the SEC Network. Great games tomorrow. Interesting what Georgia Tech, Colorado looks like, and then obviously we know the big time matchups all weekend: Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But just kind of maybe some of the big themes that you're looking for this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, week number 1 is incredible. I mean, it's a great slate. Thursday, tonight, like it starts right now. Like you don't have to wait around. I mean, there's teams like Boise State's going to be in action tonight. So looking forward to that against South Florida on the road. That's not an easy game. It's a talented South Florida roster. So we don't have to wait. We're going to get them Thursday through Monday. Friday's great. I mean, you mentioned Georgia Tech and Colorado, and EMAC knows this. I love Georgia Tech. I mean, Brent Key's maybe like the meathead coach of the year already, and we hadn't even had a ball snap yet. So I love their makeup. Haynes King is the QB1 on the all meathead team. So I'm excited to see them play. It's a challenge to go out west. We don't know what Colorado is going to look like, but even how about Auburn and Baylor? Like Auburn's got to travel to Waco, and a lot of Auburn fans are probably like hand waving that game, not thinking a lot of it. And Baylor is certainly good enough to beat them. And so there's intrigue.
These two guys have Baylor
Saturday.
winning in our week 1 preview show. So if you've seen that, go check that out. We think
I'll take Baylor as well. Let's make it a trio. Shout out Dave Aranda.
Come on, man. I love that. And it is, there's so much excitement. And we were going back and forth about it, Jake. I think what takes it to another level is the fact that these games are on home sites. Like there's a couple that are at neutrals, but these mega games, these top 10 matchups, they're all at home venues, and they're going to do the home and home thing, which I think is electric and just so much more fun for the sport, right?
I'm right there with you. Like, I mean, Clemson, LSU, which we're certainly going to get into obviously here. Like, I love the fact that that is going to be on campus. The fact that both those schools get a chance to see those stadiums. When they played Florida State, talking of LSU, like it was in New Orleans and Orlando. Like, I don't need that. And I know, look, I know it makes money, and I know Georgia Tech is moving, their game against Georgia to Mercedes-Benz. Like, why would you do that? That should be in Bobby Dodd. I know it's like $12 million. I get that in dollars and cents. I understand all of that in the landscape, but you're giving Georgia a home game now. Like that's going to be the Bulldogs. And I know it's a long way away. That's at the end of the season.
It was going to be a home game regardless, even if it was in Bobby Dodd. Let's just be honest.
I mean, a little bit less though.
Calm down.
A little bit less. So like for me, yeah, I mean, I want all the games that are played at the home venues because look, I told you this the other day, EMAC, I've never been to Memorial Stadium. I'm looking forward to going there and seeing all the things that we've always seen. Like I've seen the way you drive the bus up and you go down the hill. Like that's incredible. Like I want to see that in person. And if they were playing in Charlotte, I wouldn't get that. And so all these games being on these venues on campus, it's incredible.
Let's get to round 1. We're going to do some rounds here. We're going to kind of break down the position groups, the position battles, the big storylines heading into this awesome matchup as LSU heads to Clemson. But the first question in round 1 between you two, who's the true Death Valley? We're going to go with Hester gets the first go with this one. Tell me why LSU is the true Death Valley.
Look, it's going to be a lot of the conversation. It's going to be it this year. It's going to be it next year. Obviously, I'm going to pick LSU. EMAC's going to pick Clemson. But I'll say this, right? You got 100,000 hydrated Cajuns, and it is always going to be turned up to an 11, right? Anytime you see any kind of list of best atmospheres in college football, LSU's Death Valley is always atop that list. It is an experience. When you go in there on a Saturday night, you can smell the bourbon as soon as you walk in, right? It's like a rite of passage passage when you're a youngster and you're like, what's that smell, mom and dad? Oh, that's bourbon, son. And they are ready to go and they cheer the entire time. If it's Florida, if it's Alabama, it's just a memory that you always remember. So look, I'm not going to come on here and disrespect EMAC, but when you say Death Valley in college football, a lot of times your first thought process is LSU. Now, I know EMAC is ready to go. My man is ready to go. I know he's got the stats. I'm going to pull a little B-rabbit and try to say everything he's going to say, about me. He is going to tell me that Clemson started it first. He is going to tell me that they started the tradition. But it did come after LSU beat Clemson, and that is how LSU adopted the nickname. So if we're racing for pinks here, LSU went and got the pink, and then they started the name.
There you go. And again, historically accurate is important. That's why we have history. We want to go back to books. And the thing that he forgot to say is LSU called it Death Valley, but degrees are optional down there. Learning and reading is optional.
Big State U, baby.
That's
Big
right.
State U.
And so, they confused an F with a TH and they switched them around. And hey, listen, that's what it is. My question is, when we go 1-1, if we go 1-1, how do you settle this thing? Like, is there an option for a third? Do we have an emergency break glass game somewhere else that we make this happen? Like, what's the significance of tying this series?
Yeah. Maybe you get a rematch in a playoff game.
I was about to say,
maybe this year. Like,
all jokes aside, I think it might even come this year. That is a great question. Like, if it is tied up, like, we got to find some way, somehow, to maybe have a tiebreaker because, look, y'all have beaten us in bowl games. We've beaten y'all in bowl games. And so, gosh, you kind of hope now that somebody goes 2 first so you can just kind of put it to rest for at least like the next 10 years or so.
That's right. Only if it's us, of course. But yeah, I agree.
All right, that is round 1. So
hey, your fans, though, your fans are going to be, I would assume, maybe turned up the most that they've ever been for any game, even though like we're not a rival, we're not in the same conference. I think just the entire Death Valley thing, like you tell me, is do you hear more buzz because of all the things surrounding this matchup more than normal?
More than normal, I think, is the right way to do it because they want to prove that they are the real Death Valley, right? And that's what I'm so excited that you get to be there. You're going to call the game. The huddle will be there as well. There's a lot of excitement. I mean, we're talking about hearing 300,000 plus people in the city. I mean, this is Georgia 2013. This is Notre Dame 2015. Now it's LSU 2025 here. And it's going to be ecstatic, man. I can't wait.
Gonna be a good time. Very jealous you guys will be there. All right, that is round 1 of this LSU versus Clemson. So leave your comment down below. Who is the real Death Valley? We'll let the fans of the show kind of determine it as well. All right, the next big one, because these teams are very similar. They're 2 of the best teams in America. They have a lot of returning experience at key positions. The number one being the quarterback spot. My top 2 guys when it comes to the Heisman race are the 2 quarterbacks in this game. And obviously winner is going to kind of create some separation from the other. Garrett Nussmeier, Cade Klubnik, both terrific seasons last year as starting quarterbacks at their respective team, and have a lot of excitement, obviously, heading into this year as well. So we'll flip it around. EMAC, you first. Why is your quarterback the better quarterback in this duel?
Yeah, it's a good point. I think he can just do more, right? Cade is so electric with his legs. He's not going to become one-dimensional. He's not just going to have to throw it 40 times in a game. He can also run it 10 to 15 times, and it just makes him harder to defend, right? You want to go 2-man and let him sit back. Okay, great. He's taking off. You want to blitz him. He's going to evade that and hit it right behind your head there. I think that when you have that leg mobility asset and that priority there, it's just a difference maker. And so you have a guy that's been there, done that. He understands the protections. He understands the offense. Like, this is his car and he can drive it however he wants. He's going to have options when he goes to the line of scrimmage to be able to get into the best situation for Clemson. But the legs, to me, is what's really going to separate him, and throwing on the run as well. Like, he did that so well a year ago. It's either a great equalizer or a great separator when you're a tied team like these 2 might be.
Hester,
yeah, I mean, Aaron, I'm right there with you as far as quarterbacks. I've got them 1A and 1B. And look, I've said all along, and I can't come on here and be a poser and change my opinion. I think Cade Klubnik is the best college quarterback. I do. I have him 1A and have Nussmeier 1B. Now, best pro quarterback, I would flip that. I would have Nussmeier ahead there, but we're playing a college game. And EMAC's right. Like, it is going to be the legs of Cade Klubnik. We know they're going to make throws. Like, Garrett Nussmeier is going to hit a big play through the air. Cade's going to hit a big play through the air. You can't look at these weapons and just go out there and play perfect defense. It's not going to happen. Now, for LSU, how can they stop Cade Klubnik's legs? Because if you take away the sack yardage, which I've always said is a dumb college
So
stat,
dumb.
like, why do we do that?
Dumb.
He's rushing for over 700 yards last year. Like, he's that dynamic, right? He's kind of John Mateer, and we don't talk about it. So for me, like, safety play for LSU, and they went out and they got some good players out of the portal. But if you don't play good at safety against Cade Klubnik, you'll get beat. He'll beat you in the run game with the Q runs. All those are going to be up. We talked about, the draw he had against Pitt last year. That's a good defense. They've got All-Americans on that Pitt defense. He has, his head on the goalpost. And then also, like, if you can get him into trouble ever through the air, it is if you have great safety play. But I go back and I watch the tape. There was players, because they're worried about so much for the Clemson offense, that are kind of scared to make the aggressive play and go after the football. Like, if you're going to intercept Cade Klubnik, it's going to be over the middle of the football field because he's so accurate all over the field. And so for LSU, they got to stop that. And then if you're Clemson, like, you got to worry about all the new weapons that Garrett Nussmeier has, right? Because last year, if you go out and you kind of look at what he had, it's better this year. And he threw for over 4,000 yards. And so if you're trying to get, okay, what's a difference maker for Nussmeier over Cade Klubnik? If I'm making the argument, I would say his first season as a starting quarterback, he threw for over 4,000 yards. And Aaron, you can speak on this way better than I can. Year 1 to year 2, we always hear it is the biggest jump. So if you throw for 4,000 in your first year, you got better weapons in your second year. Like, what can this version of Garrett Nussmeier kind of look like? And, oh, yeah, he's got a badass number that he's rocking in number 18.
Hey, come on. Well, let's stay there for a second, actually. Yeah, I want to hear more about this because we know the legendary number 7, and that's very well documented, and, all the great players that have worn that. I guess it's just ignorance, unless you didn't know either. And I didn't know the 18 number had the same type of presence, the same type of award. So can you walk through the history? I know you wore it, obviously, and go through some of that and what it means and how you get it, things of that nature.
Yeah, so 18 actually started pretty well before the number 7 deal at LSU. And so, look, Louisiana was the 18th state to come into the union. So, like, 18's always meant a lot throughout the state. And Matt Mock, the national championship winning quarterback in 03, like, he was graduating. And whenever he did, I don't know why, but he chose me. Right. I'd wore 13 my entire life. I'm a huge Dan Marino fan, and 13 meant like everything. I used to have Lucky Brand cologne because it had a 13 on the bottle. Like, I was all in. So I was going to wear 13. And then they're like, hey, this guy wants you to wear 18. Like, he's heard a lot about you. The coaches have, kind of talked you up. The head trainer, Jack Marucci, has talked you up. Like, do you want this honor? I'm like, dude, if the national championship winning quarterback is offering me his number and he wants it to become a thing, are you kidding me? Absolutely. It's just 2 little lines on that 3. I'll take it. And so, like, I get 18, and then really from there, and that was with Coach Saban, and then Coach Miles gets there, he finds out about it, and he's like, oh, this is going to be every single year. So I was very fortunate to wear it for my career. And then when I move on, I pass it off to Richard Dixon, who has, before Mason Taylor, had every tight end record for LSU. And then it became a thing where it's like, hey, who's the leader? Who is the Tiger on and off the field? We don't have to worry about him. He's going to do the right things. It doesn't always go to the best player. Oftentimes it doesn't. This actually is, in my opinion, the best player to ever wear it in Garrett Nussmeier. Tre'Davious White's worn it. He's an All-American, but this is the quarterback. It's the first time it's been a quarterback since Matt Mock. Oof. And we're talking about, Faustin Moro's worn it, Mekhi Wingo, all these NFL draft choices have worn the number. It's been highs. It's been a lot of really good players. It's been on some All-Americans, all SEC guys. But first time a quarterback outside of Mock who started the tradition of wearing the number. So it's a big deal for him to wear it. And look, in 18 is, like I said, it doesn't go to the best player, but it goes to what they call the ultimate Tiger, the guy that represents the school better than anybody on the team. So it's a big honor for me, for my family, for everybody involved to be surrounded by. It's never going to be up in the rafters. 18 is never going to be retired. So this is.
But that's even cooler what it is.
Yeah, for us, this
cooler,
is prideful every year. Look, we got a group chat. Like, all of us are in this group chat, and Josh Williams just made the Buccaneers roster as an undrafted free agent. He wore 18 at LSU last year. We're blowing it up. Josh, you're the man. Josh, man, congratulations. When Nussmeier got awarded the number, man, it's always cool. You go to the group text, you add number, you add Garrett Nussmeier. Everybody starts flooding with messages. So, it's been a deal for Gosh, I hate that I'm about to put a year on this. 22 years now. It's been a deal, and there's been a handful of us that have worn it. Some guys have worn it multiple years. Some guys only 1 year. Lloyd Cushenberry, an offensive lineman, he couldn't wear it in the game, but he had an 18 patch. And
I remember that.
Yeah, man, the crew is deep, and it's a lot of fun. It's something I'm incredibly prideful about, just because really of the other guys, not just myself. And so for Nussmeier to wear it, to accept the number. Because look, he's number 13. He's one of the best players in the country. He's a Heisman, candidate front runner type guy. And so everybody knows him as 13. And so for him to say, no, I want the challenge, I'll take the 18, I'll change my number. It means a lot to
If
all
you
of us.
have to pay a
And
fine
so,
like the NFL does if you change your number,
dude, I was sitting there thinking, Aaron, like all the 13 jerseys that they've sold.
Stinks.
And now
more
with Nussmeier on the
for
back.
Nuss. More revenue for Nuss. They got to buy 18 now. This is
I
smart.
saw that.
Good
I don't know if you
NIL
guys
play.
saw that or not. The SEC shorts where they did the rip-away jerseys. Did you guys see that one?
No, I did not see
that
that.
sounds hilarious.
It's like a blank jersey, and then they just send you a packets of numbers, letters, logos, advertisers.
Logos, yeah, they transfer.
And
That's
look,
so funny.
I just want
Change it
residuals from like the 18s they sold in the bookstore in
Exactly.
2005 and 6 and
Exactly.
7.
That's right.
That's
That's
all
right.
Just, let me hold something.
All right, the next big position I want to kind of get you guys to debate on, and then we'll try to get some big picture stuff here. Appreciate Jacob joining us. The receivers, because I think this is a big topic here. LSU obviously is known as one of the receiver U's in all of college football. Clemson for a while was known as one of the best when it came to developing receivers. It's kind of been a lull for the past few years, EMAC, of getting top tier talent on the outside. It seems like that is in a really good spot, which is why there's a lot of confidence with Clemson. And obviously LSU is just, loaded up, getting guys in the transfer portal. Which receiving core is the best in this matchup? We'll start with Hester first. You can throw running backs and tight ends there too if you want.
We get to talk running backs on radio now? I thought we were forgotten about it. I thought we didn't even have a chance to.
What are those?
Have that conversation. I mean, fullbacks are already extinct, and running backs are already, getting close to that. But look, I'm not going to pretend that Clemson doesn't have a very deep room, but I am very bullish on this LSU room. I think they have a better room, as I said earlier, than they had a year ago. You get your leading receiver in Aaron Anderson back. Now, are you going to miss Mason Taylor at the tight end position? Absolutely. That'd be foolish to say otherwise. He's a second-round pick, but you go get Bauer Sharp from Oklahoma. Trades Green, Aaron, I know that you've seen him. He is like a unicorn. He is somebody that's going to line up all over the place. You can be in 12 or 11 with him in there, and it's going to be kind of a chess match between the coordinators whenever he's in the game. But when you look at Barry and Brown, you get him from Kentucky. You look at Nick Anderson from Oklahoma. But Chris Hilton's the X factor for me. Chris Hilton last year was something this offense missed very badly. Like when you look at what they couldn't do last year, they really didn't have the guy that was just going to go and get the deep ball and get behind the defense. They had a lot of possession receivers, good ones, but not the deep threat. And then Chris Hilton comes back, and he was rusty in the Florida game. They tried to hit him a couple times. He jumped too early. It became, Brian Kelly and him are going after each other on the sideline. And there for a while, it didn't work. And they kept trying, and they kept trying. And then the Oklahoma game, it hit. And then they hit big plays against Oklahoma. It continued in the bowl game against Baylor. So as good as all those receivers that have come in from other SEC schools, Aaron Anderson as your leading receiver a year ago, he's back. It is Chris Hilton Jr. who is going to unlock everything, I think, for this LSU offense, because you have to respect him, because if you don't, he'll be behind you and he'll be in the end zone. So the good thing about LSU, and look, I think they have right now, they have like 8 receivers, but I don't like that. I think you need to have like 4 receivers. If I'm a quarterback, I want to know, how do you run a comeback? How do you run a dig route? How do you run all the intermediate, all the deep routes, whatever it might be? I want to know that. And I think they're honing in on that. But I think the 4 receivers they'll have 4 different skill sets. And I think that's the biggest positive for LSU. And again, this is going to be a great receiver matchup, but I do think LSU has a slight advantage because all 4 of those guys are going to be different.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so fascinating about this matchup, because they are so much more similar than they are not alike. And you see the receiver rooms, and of course I'm going to take the Tigers, but again, there's some facts there.
Good, me too.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. There you go. When you look at production, when you look at numbers, the amount of yards coming back from this team, not just from other places, and it starts with Antonio Williams for Clemson. He just came out on Matt Miller's big board as the number 1 wide receiver in the world for the NFL draft coming up here. He's special. He's an alpha. He gets it. He's a South Carolina kid. He knows what this means. this opportunity. And having the opportunity, Aaron and Jake, to talk to him in person, like, he knows where he is pole position, and that's great. And he knows what he has to do to stay there, which I think is even better and more impactful. You've got two superstar sophomores that just, were a revelation for Clemson's offense last year, and TJ Moore and Bryant Wesco Jr. Bryant Wesco's he's a similar guy that you were just talking about. He's going, like, he's getting vertical, and he's big. He's 6'3". He can go over the top of anybody. And then TJ Moore, bigger body guy, getting better at his routes, was super raw, but maybe the best ball possession guy from a year ago. And then just casually coming off the bench, you got Tyler Brown, who was an All-American 2 years ago, was hurt last year, a guy that I think a lot of people are forgetting about, that they're going to get him involved early and often. A couple of goal line threats. As you mentioned, we have so many, right? Both of these guys are so deep, and they've got to figure out how to get them involved. But Cole Turner can go over the top, is springy, is explosive. And then Tristan Smith, the transfer, every bit of 6'5" goal. I mean, when they get close, he's going in, and it's a jump ball. Throw it to the outside, throw it where no one can catch it, and let's see how he can go up. I think the X factor, if we both are on the fence and saying it's marginal, then maybe it's tied, and something that will persuade, of course, I'm going to say in my favor here, Adam Randall's your running back. Adam Randall was a receiver last year. Now you can go 5 wide, split him out at any time, and you've got a linebacker on a receiver. And we feel really good about, that matchup, and because we can keep you where you are in a heavy set, and then boom, we shift this totally something different. Feel like you can take advantage of those matchups.
Yeah, he is going to be crucial, and I know he's only got a handful of carries. And look, I'm going to be biased towards my position. Like, if you haven't really played running back your entire life, like, the first time you're going out there is going to be against LSU in this massive marquee opening game. So, like, I am fascinated with how that is going to work out. And I've always said, like, you either born to run the football or you can't. That's why a lot of times your best athlete is not at the running back position, right? It's just not one of those things where it's like, hey, most athletic guy, go to running back. No, can you read the zone run? Or can't you? Can you read the gap scheme or you can't? So if Clemson thinks that Adam Randall can be that guy, I'm fascinated to see how it's going to work out, because EMAC, that might be the matchup. It might be Randall versus Caden Durham. Which running back is going to have the most success? Because I do have questions about both offensive lines, because they're going to play like 6, 7 guys, both of them. Like, you're not going to see the same 5. And I know for me, that's out of the norm for me. I know it probably is for you as well. Like, which one of these running backs can make the play? Which one is going to make the long run? Which one is going to make somebody on the second level miss? Because I don't think there's going to be a lot of opportunities with these defensive lines going against these offensive lines to have like just a ton of success where you're in 4-minute offense and you're running the clock out.
Yeah. All right, let's get the defense real quick. We got Hester for a couple more minutes. Hester, just defensively, I think Baker's one of the best DCs in America. I think that the year 2 should be better for LSU with Weeks, and obviously Harold's back linebacker position. But talk about that unit as a whole, because we know the offense is going to be good. How good's the defense? And obviously EMAC with you too as well in your turn. Like, LSU's biggest issue last year was stopping the run. And we know they got some big dudes up front, new DC. How is that unit going to fare against LSU? Why don't you start with EMAC first on this one? Go back to your unit first, and what you're looking for from that defense against that offense for LSU that can throw it all over the ballpark.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing again is the eerie similarity. Both these teams sucked on defense last year. It was really weird.
Certainly to their standard, for sure.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think LSU was like 11th in total defense. Clemson was middle back of the pack as well, and just not the standard at all. And what's so strange is they had the guys. They have the talent, had the talent a year ago. And I think it was pretty telling after the Louisville game last year, where Louisville ran for 220, 230, whatever. And it's just like embarrassing what just happened. First time Louisville ever beat the Tigers. And somebody asked, like, is it a personnel issue? And Coach Sweeney goes, absolutely not. And that was pretty telling, that there was going to be a change at the defensive coordinator position. And they did. And they bring in Tom Allen. And I think this defense is reborn in a sense of how they're going to play: tenacious, gritty, passionate. They broke it down to, do you know how to tackle? I mean, in spring ball, it looked like I was watching Pee Wee practice with the drills that they were doing. Now, it's first round picks doing Pee Wee practice, and it's first round picks doing, these type of things. So when I look at just personnel wise, I look at this defensive line, specifically going against a retooled, newer LSU offensive line in their house. I've got to give the edge to Clemson defensively here just because of who they have. You got first-round potential picks in the secondary as well. You got Sammy Brown and Wade Wood as two just bad dudes at linebacker. It's going to be fascinating to see how Clemson defends them and attacks them, but also how does LSU defend us? Like, is this a Florida situation from a year ago, or are they able to get the ball out quick and find those receivers?
You better get it out quick because of TJ Parker and Peter Woods.
Yeah.
They're all Americans, and they're all Americans for a reason. They're Sunday players, and that's going to be another storyline of the game, probably the biggest for LSU's offense. Now, like, I think LSU's defense is going to be better. I love the linebackers in this game. They're all meatheads, and I love it.
Seriously,
like, for both teams, I mean, we're talking about like guys that just want to attack and they want to impose their will on their opponent. So I love that. I'm going to give the edge to Clemson's defensive line. Like I can't be a Homer Simpson here. Like I've got to, like, with my eyes, watch the tape and see it. Is LSU's defensive line going to be better? Absolutely. I mean, they went and got guys that y'all both know, one from Florida State. The edge rushers will be better. And they got Kyle Williams coaching the unit. I mean, that's somebody that I played with, was a teammate of mine, was an all-pro many years in the NFL, and it looks different. But I'm still going to give Clemson the edge there. I think for LSU, it's okay if you can't block them, which could happen. It very easily could happen. If you can't stop them, what do you go to? What's the change up? Like, do you throw the smoke routes? Do you throw the now routes, the looks, whatever you can, because you've got some receivers that have return ability. Like, you got two receivers that returned 2 kickoffs and punts for touchdowns last year. So they live in the chaos. Okay, can you get them the ball and allow them to go make a play? Can Trey'Dez Green, who we talked about, he's not really a Y tight end. He's more of an F tight end, obviously, but he played receiver last year. If he's in the slot, right, can you throw kind of a smoke route to your outside receiver? Trey'Dez goes and he blocks the guy, and then you cut off his block and you go make a 7-yard play. That's maybe how you got to start the game. You got to slow them down a little bit. So, man, the coordinators in this matchup are going to be huge. Like, when you're talking about great on great, I didn't say good on good, great on great. What is going to be the deciding factor? There's going to be Allen is going to have something that LSU hadn't seen, right? Joe Sloan's going to have something that they haven't seen. How do you adjust that in this opening game? Because, look, if LSU just lines up and tries to throw the ball, like Emac said, 40 times, they're going to lose. They're going to lose the game. If they throw the ball 40 times, they'll lose the game because Garrett Nussmeier is going to be sacked 6 times. So they have to come up with some things that slow down the rush and the rush ability of Clemson, because that's, to me, like, that's going to be the storyline. If Clemson has 2 sacks, LSU wins. If Clemson has 7, then Clemson wins.
Right.
All right, we said in our preview show, I think this is the best game. I know everyone's hyped about that Ohio State-Texas game, big noon kickoff, but this should be the best game.
You can't have the biggest game at brunch.
Exactly. Tell them, Jake.
It's got to be under the lights somewhere.
This is the best game of the weekend. I'll be excited. Jealous you two will be there to enjoy it as we continue the debate of who is the true Death Valley. But before we let you go, Jacob, what's the score? What's the final score? We need score predictions from both of you before we
don't get in trouble with your fan base, Jake.
There's nobody that's listening that expects me to pick Clemson or Emac to pick LSU. All right. I said I wasn't going to be a homer, but like I got to go LSU in this one because eventually they've got to win an opener. They're over their last 5. They haven't won an opener since Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson and Clyde Edwards-Helaire were on the offense, okay? Those guys have all gotten second contracts in the NFL, okay? Right. So they are due. They are due. Okay. I'm going to go 31-28. I think it goes the over. I think there's some points. Yeah. I know these defenses are good. Certainly Clemson's established. Like, we think LSU is going to be good, but we can't come on here and say that this is quarterback 1A, quarterback 1B, Heisman front runners and not have points. I think there's going to be, a lot of action in this game. And if LSU wins, and again, I'll pick them 31-28, I think it's going to look, Aaron, a lot like the Ole Miss game for LSU last year, where Clemson kind of controls it. They control it, and they can't put them away. Maybe that 4-minute offense isn't quite there, and then Nussmeier out of nowhere, like he did against Ole Miss. Here comes this fourth quarter drive, score, tie it up, first play of overtime, you hit Kyron Lacey, Tigers win. I think that's how the game's going to play out. There's no way in my mind that either team runs away with this. I feel like it's going to be close to the final tick.
Yeah, that's a great prediction. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait for you to see it in person. And we're going to get you some good food while you're down there too, man. Jake, great to see you, brother.
Well,
Always grateful for your time.
What's your score?
You got to come back and see that later, man. I'll tell you another time. Jake, you're the best.
I bet he goes with Clemson, though. I bet he goes with Hey, Emac, I appreciate you, brother. Anytime y'all need me, let me know. I'm trusting you on the food portion of this on Friday night, so I'm going to hit you up. And then I say this, at the end of the game, since your new co-host, Jimbo Fisher, is going to be on set with you, he has played in both Death Valleys, right?
That's right.
So after the game, maybe we let him be the tiebreaker.
Yeah,
maybe we let Jimbo call it for where the real Death Valley is.
That's right. We'll make it happen. Great to see you, brother.
All right, boys.
Thanks, Hess.
Okay.